This program is brought to you by Toby Peanuts. We are nuts!
Toby, Toby Peanuts, your everyday delight. Anytime, any place, everything feels right. Toby Peanuts, the joy has just begun.
Sometimes letting it out can make a big difference.
Oh yes.
And sometimes you gotta let your heart speak.
Hi, I'm Joe the Mango. Hello and welcome to another episode of Love Notes. Dear Joe, I was 16 when I first felt what it was like to be truly seen. Home life was far from easy. Our family was together, yet often wrapped in toxic behavior. Then I met him, and suddenly someone noticed me. Someone made me smile. Someone gave me attention. Joe, it all began at a small bake shop. I thought he was just a helper there, working the early shift. His first question to me was simple. What school are you from? I pointed to my uniform and he recognized it. Later that day, I was surprised to see him again. This time not at the bakery, but at the same school, studying engineering. He smiled, said hi, and I thought to myself, wow, he's a working student. I kept seeing him at the bake shop, believing he was just earning his way through school. One day, needing a calculator for trigonometry, I approached him, and from that moment our connection grew. He never courted me in the traditional sense, but he always held my hand when we met, took me out to eat, and made me feel like I really mattered to him. Joe, when I finally asked why he worked at the bakery, he laughed. He wasn't a worker. He owned it. His Chinese family had set him up with his own business. That's when I realized he came from a well-off family. Meeting his friends and relatives only reminded me of the distance between our worlds. Still, I stayed close to him. When I entered college, I chose engineering at the same university just to be near him. He even helped me with my enrollment. He never said he loved me, Joe, but I didn't mind, because being around him was enough. On my 18th birthday, my only wish was to see him, and that wish came true. Outside my gate, in his white Toyota van, he invited me for a ride. It was raining, one of those scenes that etches itself in memory. He said we were going bowling, but we never left the parking lot. Instead, he looked at me and said softly, "Maybe I can be your first kiss." I laughed it off, thinking he was teasing. Joe, that same night, he asked me to come with him to the province, promising to take care of me. But I was afraid of my father, so I said no. And I never realized that no would be the last time I would ever see him. Soon after his bake shop closed, I dropped out of school and started working. For months, even years, every time I saw a white van, I checked the plate, hoping it was him. But he never came, Joe. Until one day, I saw his brother who told me he was already with someone else. And that's when I knew he was gone from my life. My heart broke, but I tried to move on. Eventually, I got pregnant and started raising a child by myself. Later, Joe, I learned from my cousin that he once came looking for me. But when he found out I was pregnant, he turned away. I ran outside hoping to catch him, but all I saw was his van driving away. That day, I whispered goodbye into the air. And so ended the love that never truly began. Joe, for 22 years, I carried him quietly in my heart, Life moved on. I raised my child and eventually married a foreigner and moved to the US. But in 2022, when I returned to Cebu for nursing, I passed by a familiar place, the same spot he had brought me to on that rainy night. I discovered it wasn't a bowling alley at all, but the first hotel in the province. The vine tree where we stood under was still there. That's when I realized he had wanted me, but respected me too much to cross the line. That memory made me smile, because maybe, just maybe, he really did like me after all. Then came the news, Joe. He had been murdered. The pain was so sharp, I couldn't explain it. He was never my boyfriend. He never even said he loved me. And yet I grieved like a widow. Joe, I told my husband everything. By God's grace, he understood. And still I couldn't explain why his death crushed me. Maybe because he was my first love. The kind of love that never needed labels or promises. The kind that lingered silently in my heart for more than 2 decades. My only regret, or perhaps my only wish, is that he could have told me how he truly felt, even once. Because I wasn't asking for love in return. I only wanted to know the truth of his heart. And even though he is gone, Joe, he will always remain the love that was never mine, but the love I will never forget. Sincerely yours, Gemini. Gemini, sometimes we grieve, not because a love ended, but because it never had a chance to begin. The deepest pain often comes from unfinished stories and unanswered questions. But don't mistake your grief for weakness. It only proves how deeply you are capable of loving. Your first love was a season, a gift that showed you what it means to be noticed, cherished, and seen. He may not have stayed, but he awakened something in you that shaped the way you love. Gemini, let go of regret, and instead, be grateful. Even a love that never became is still love, and love is never wasted. Some loves are not meant to last a lifetime, but they last long enough to teach us what forever is. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes 3:1, there is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. Gemini, he was a season in your life. But God's love, it is eternal. People may leave us. Death may take those we hold dear. But nothing can take away the love of Christ, the only love that completes, heals, and never ends. So when memories return, let them lead you to gratitude instead of regret. And when grief lingers, bring it to God, whose love turns even unfinished stories into lessons of grace. Let us always remember, sometimes we experience a love that only stays as a memory. But every love, no matter how brief, leads us closer to the one who loves us most. Thank you for writing, Gemini, and God bless you. You've just heard another episode of Love Notes, exclusive here on Dear Joe Radio.
Kahit anong kwento, siya'y nandyan para sa'yo. Sa bawat liham, may silip ng pag-asa.